And those are the stories that are most likely to change the course of their relationship forever. So this is a book about books. It's a book about moms and daughters. And it's a book that is largely inspired by my own two teenage daughters.
We'll talk about this and much more today. Welcome to a Writer's Day podcast. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to a Writer's Day. I'm so happy to have you here to listen to my interviews with best-selling, award-winning authors. And I know you're going to like the one I have today. She's amazing. And so if you like what you hear, please consider subscribing and following me and leave a review of my podcast. I'd love to know what you think of a Writer's Day because I created this podcast for you, folks who want to learn more about the writing craft and listen to these amazing authors. And I know you have a choice as to which podcast to listen to, so I'm honored that you're spending some time with me today. And head over to my website, artbyruth.com, to learn more about my upcoming project. Fatal Standoff releases June 24th. It's coming soon, right around the corner, and it's available for pre-order right now over at Amazon. And it is book 2 in my Desert Suspense series, and it follows Emma and Liam on yet another investigation that threatens to tear them apart. Emma is threatened, and Liam, wow, he just really goes into this downward spiral. So pre-order the book today to find out what happens to Emma and Liam in Fatal Standoff. So head over to artbyruth.com to learn more about me and my upcoming projects. Sara Brunsvold is the Christie Award-winning author of The Extraordinary Deaths of Mrs. Kipp and The Divine Proverb of Streusel. I love her stories. I've even had her on my book club, and she talked with us about how she creates these amazing stories. So you know the drill. Grab your favorite beverage, a comfortable chair, and kick back and relax as we listen to Sara Brunsvold talk about her new book. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. I am so excited to have my friend Sara Brunsvold with me again. I think this is the third interview we've done on a Writer's Day, so welcome back.
Thank you again for having me. This is always fun talking to you.
Oh, yeah, of course. Anytime I get a chance to talk about books, I am there. But first, why don't you catch us up as to what you've been up to since we last spoke about the Divine Proverb of Streusel. That was a while ago. So yeah, tell us what you've been up to.
That was a while ago. Yes. So I have been blessed to have attended several large reader events, I should say, where I actually get to interact with several readers all at once. And so I went to the Read Write Rendezvous, which is associated with the Christie Awards this past fall. Super fun. Getting ready to go to the Mississippi River Readers Retreat this summer. I love doing things like that and connecting with readers over book club, virtual visits. So I've been doing a lot of those the last year. That is probably my favorite aspect about this whole authoring gig, is to get to talk to people about books. And it's just a little sweeter when it's my book that we're talking about. So other than that, I've been working on releasing this new novel, The Atlas of Untold Stories. And I am just so eager for readers to get their hands on this, and especially those readers who love books about books.
Yes, absolutely. I can hardly wait to talk to you about it. But back to the reader events, it must be so neat to hear how your books have, had an impact on your readers, and they walk up to you and say, "Hey, this is what I got from your book." That must be such a kick.
It really is. Writing is such a solo venture in so many ways, and you don't always have that long view as to who is on the other side of the page, the souls on the other side of the page. And you just kind of get in this whole mire of trying to get through the next scene in the next chapter. And so going to these events, whether they're the large reader events or even if it's just an email from a reader or a direct message or going to a book club, it's such a sweet reminder of why we do what we do. And there are souls on the other side of that page who are reading what you're putting out there. And it is such a sweet affirmation to hear from them, which characters resonate with them and why, what themes they what themes they are identifying with in the stories that you're telling, and why, and their own personal stories and how they intersect with this fictional novel that you've put out there. And of course, it's always fun to talk to readers and compare notes about what other books we enjoy, and compare notes on what we've been reading recently and what has stood out to us, and the things that we love about Christian fiction. That is even just as meaningful to talk to readers
Mm,
about.
that's amazing and quite remarkable too. And you're right, it's a blessing for you. And your stories are so profound that it must be so comforting to see how folks are picking up on those themes in your stories. That's wonderful.
It is a joy to see how the Lord is using these fictional stories to speak into the lives of others. It's certainly a ministry to me as I'm writing the stories. And so to witness how he is using those stories in others' lives is just extra sweet.
Okay, now let's talk about your new novel, The Atlas of Untold Stories. Tell us about this story.
Yes, so this is a story about a mom and her two adult daughters who go on a bookish road trip around America's heartland. And as they are visiting over the course of 9 days, these many sites that in towns and cities that are associated with American literature classics and or the author themselves, they are uncovering the untold stories between them. And those are the stories that are most likely to change the course of their relationship forever. So, this is a book about books. It's a book about moms and daughters. And it's a book that is largely inspired by my own two teenage daughters. So,
Oh,
super
really?
excited.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's wonderful. So yeah, tell us about the inspiration for this mom and daughter story.
Absolutely. So I'm at the stage of motherhood where our oldest is almost a senior in high school. So we're preparing them to launch and preparing both of our girls to launch into the world. And it's such an exciting time, but there's also a lot of soul wrestling in this stage of life. And I wanted to kind of capture that wrestling both in a mom's heart, but also reflect on that, what it means to the daughters. Because I kind of know what it is to be both. I've been on the daughter side, but now I'm on the mother side. And I kind of wanted to see how I wanted to write a story that captured that wrestling that moms and daughters go through, about mom is learning how to let go and daughters are learning to stand on their own, and how does that complements and conflicts with one another. So my own two teenage girls, I had in mind most of the time as I was writing. um, there are characteristics within Chloe and Lauren, the two sisters in the story, that are drawn from my daughters in some ways. And then, of course, Edie, the mother, is based on mothers that I know. She's kind of a mashup of different mothers that I know, my own included, and myself included. And then, of course, with the bookish road trip, I love that idea. I was an English major in college, and so American literature is just right up my alley. And I, as a lifelong Midwesterner, I know how many sites there are around America's heartland that have ties to American literature that maybe are underrepresented or overlooked. And so I kind of wanted to give that nod, to the heartland's rich history of connection to American literature. And so just this mashup of mother-daughter themes and bookish road trip, it just came together in this beautiful story.
Mm. It sounds like a wonderful journey for the reader. As
Absolutely,
yeah, as we
yes.
get to know your characters, and then how did you come up with the specific literary works that you
Mhm.
wanted your characters to explore?
Yes, there it did take some narrowing down, honestly. But so they start in Kansas City, which is where I live, and then they just start going on a clockwise tour through Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri, and into Oklahoma. And so I just started by looking at what bookish sites are around that area. And then based on that, I was able to research a list of different authors who either grew up in that area or who set their works, um, the setting of their works were in the Midwest somewhere. And so that's kind of how I narrowed down which works to feature. So for instance, Lawrence, Kansas is the character's first stop outside of Kansas City, and that is where Langston Hughes spent a good portion of his
Oh,
childhood.
yeah.
And his first published poem is said to have been based on the Kansas River, which flows through Lawrence. And Willa Cather in Nebraska. A lot of several of her famous novels, "O Pioneers," "My Antonia," are set on the Nebraska plains, where she grew up in Red Cloud, Nebraska. So, and then of course, Mark Twain is Samuel Clemens grew up in Hannibal, Missouri, which is kind of the area where I'm from. So very familiar with his works and how they tie to the real life setting in Hannibal. So there's just a lot. That's how it all came together. Just sort of figured out where I wanted the characters to go, and then finding those sites that are tied to famous American literature works.
Oh, that's a great idea. Very unique. Now, your characters, though, are dealing with some challenges. And what were some of those that they're dealing with? And what made you want to explore those various challenges that they're going through?
Yeah, so each lady in the book, each woman in the book is what it comes down to is this wrestling of mothers and daughters and in the dynamic between moms and daughters. All of them are daughters first and foremost. So Edie, the mom in the story, has recently lost her own mother. And she had a very complicated relationship with her mother, who was a perfectionist, to say the least. And so she is wrestling with those lingering um, effects of what that perfectionism did to their relationship and how it is bleeding into how she interacts and approaches her own daughters. Meanwhile, the oldest daughter, Lauren, has long held the label of the responsible one in the family, but she's carrying a secret that she was recently fired for a rather dumb mistake. And so she is trying to keep that secret hidden as she's uh, trying in her own power to work through that and overcome it. Meanwhile, you have the youngest daughter, Chloe, whose biggest dream is to go overseas to teach art school, to teach art at an international school in Prague, Czech Republic. And she knows that this is something that her mother, who is very much a homebody and wants her to stay close and do all the practical things, will not respond well to. So that's actually the impetus of why they go on this trip. Chloe's hope is that by taking her mom on this adventurous trip, it will open up her mind to what's possible. And it is okay to explore, and it's safe to explore, and it's actually a healthy and good thing to push outside of your comfort zone. But Chloe has to wrestle with that. Her biggest fear is going overseas without her mom's approval. So she's sort of trying to figure out, how do I balance those two? How do I
Mm.
open my mom up to more adventurous mindsets, but yet be respectful of her needs as well. So all of that just kind of comes together, and they're stuck in this very small yellow SUV of questionable integrity for 9 days as they drive hundreds and hundreds of miles around the heartland.
Oh, that's great. And all those life lessons they're going to learn and all the change they're going to go through. But
That's
that's how
right.
life is, right?
That's exactly right. Yes. And of course they are helped along as they interact with the stories in each town and learn more about the author's life stories. Some of that creates some pretty timely and meaningful inspiration that they can take away for their own journeys.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's admirable. I like how you did that. You made those connections, those deep connections to the stories and the authors they're looking at and how it connects to their own personal journeys. And of course, the mother-daughter dynamic, that's something we've all had to endure. It's not easy at times, but as you get older, you start to appreciate it. And I think it's interesting how you have the intergenerational aspect to your book. Again, you're such an author who cares deeply about that. And as a reader, I like that too, where you have the dynamics of these younger women with their mom who's older than them, and the different worldviews, coming together. That's always fun.
That's right. Yes. And just the different experiences too, and learning to appreciate and have compassion for, everybody is on their own journey and has walked through or is walking through things that might be a little bit different than what us individually are walking through, but somehow they're also complementary. And that's such a I feel like that's how God kind of weaves together the generations intentionally, is that he does give different experiences to each passing generation for a reason, so that we can learn from each other and teach each other more compassion and more understanding.
Hmm. That's so true. Well, so the Atlas of Untold Stories, when does it release?
It releases June 17th.
Great. Okay, so it's available for pre-order right now, and that's through Baker House.
Yes, it's available wherever books and ebooks are sold. But there is several places that are doing pre-order specials, and Baker Book House is one of them. So definitely go and check that out.
And so what's coming next for you?
So I am working on book number 4 right now. No working title as of yet, but it's slated for a fall 2026 release. And it's about sisterhood in the Christian community, especially when chronic illness enters stage left. So that's something that I'm working on right now, and learning a lot through that process, writing that book.
Wow, yes, women in church communities. Whoo, boy, that's quite the topic.
Yes, it is. And a lot of good things to explore there, a lot of challenging things to explore there.
Hmm. And so, where can readers connect with you, Sara?
I would love to connect with readers through my website, sarabrunsvold.com. I am also on Instagram and on Facebook, so hope to see you around there sometime.
Absolutely. So be sure and go sign up for her newsletter so you can find out what's coming next down the road and some free goodies too. And Sara, I know you're super busy with life and family and writing. And so I'm so honored that you took time out of your busy day to chat with me today.
It was an honor for me, Ruth. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Wow, what a unique story that Sara Brunsvold is telling with the Atlas of Untold Stories. Amazing. She comes up with such incredible, creative stories, doesn't she? And so I'm super excited for this story. I can hardly wait to pre-order it, and it's available for pre-order right now. It releases June 17th, so head over to her website and see what free goodies she has there, and head over to Baker and pre-order your copy because they have it, free shipping and 40% off. That's a great deal. And I hope you've been encouraged by Sara, how she really pays attention to those themes. She wants you, her readers, to take away those deep themes from her stories. And I love how she has these intergenerational characters in there, and that because that's true to life. So you got the young people getting to know the old people and vice versa. So I'm so grateful for Sara coming on and talking about this new story. I've been inspired to keep writing, and I hope you have too, because like I always say, someone out there needs to read your story. So don't give up. Keep going. And thanks for listening. Until next time, God bless.